What's up, guys? We're here at a Auto Auction, and I'm going to show you how to analyze and read a Carfax report and what it actually means, and the things to look for to make sure you're buying the vehicle, what to value it, and how to appraise it. All right, guys. So first thing, if you guys have a Carfax, which is very important, everybody asks for a Carfax, so make sure you guys have a Carfax. Number one question: show me the Carfax, right? And you want to be able to know the history of your vehicle before your customer. You don't want them to find out about an accident before you do, because then that gives them an upper hand, and then a negotiation process. You guys want to know everything about your vehicle so that way you can address it to your customer and let them know about it. Okay, so we have a Honda Accord, okay, and we're gonna want to do a Carfax report on it. Okay, so here we go. Usually the VIN number is located here on the pillar. Most of the vehicles have them underneath the windshield and in this pillar. This pillar usually has a barcode which allows you to scan these cars. Not everyone has it, but majority of them do. That allows you just simply walk up to a car, scan it, and already we have a Carfax report. Okay? Now, in these Carfax reports is a great tool. It already tells you the retail value. It gives you mostly a retail value of how much this vehicle is already worth. So you already have this number. It also gives you a wholesale value. A wholesale value is great because that's how much usually trade-ins go for. That's how much usually wholesale is what usually vehicles sell for at the auction. It's called wholesaling. That's how much they are worth. When you go at the Carfax report, it's also going to show you all the history of it, whether it had an accident, history service records, accidents, how many owners, and how well it was serviced. And also, very importantly, if it has a recall. Guys, I see a lot of people spending money going to get something fixed. Meanwhile, there was a recall on this vehicle. Something wrong with your braking system, your hood latch. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars to going to get that fixed, there's a recall on it. You get it fixed for free at the dealership. Okay? So I'm going to show you my screen record so you guys could look at it. Scrolling down. Now, here we have a 2012 Honda Accord. We see wholesale value is 32, and the other one is called 67 on it. Let me go back to the recording of it. And, okay, we're back. Okay, so back to the Carfax. Now, we see that it had minor damage reported. It does not mean there was an accident on it, just means that there was damage reported on the vehicle. 2 previous owners, and it has 57 service records, which is great. The service records means that it was professionally serviced. That means it was brought into a shop. 57 is pretty high for it. We look at damage brands, if it had any type of junk, salvage, lemon, flood, hail damage, all that will tell you right then and there, and also the odometer. All this checks out. There's no total loss, no structural damage, no airbag deployment, the odometers, when the damage was reported. Now, a lot of the times, damage will be reported when a vehicle actually checks into an auction and they note that there was damage on the vehicle, something minor. Here we see that the vehicle scores a 4.6 out of 5 for maintenance records. What does that tell us? That tells us one simple thing. Somebody took care of the vehicle. They brought it in for regular service records and they maintained it regularly instead of not being that. So even though a vehicle may have higher mileage, because it is serviced well, we can see that, okay, it may be a decent vehicle, may be maintained right. So even though it has higher mileage, it's still okay because there's service records on it. Doesn't mean anything, but now it gives you a little bit more perspective. Here we see vehicle service, four tires balanced, oil pressure checked, drive belts checked, and it was done by a dealership. That means that it was brought in professionally and checked. That's very important because a lot of times you'll see no service records. That means the person was either not servicing their vehicles or they were bringing it to a molly pop shop where they maybe when something broke, they fixed it. This tells us that somebody really took care of the vehicle. Here, as I'm scrolling through this, you can see they were bringing it to one dealership consistently, and every 20,000 miles we have a vehicle. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Let me get this back. And okay, and it was serviced regularly every 20,000. Here, look at all these repairs done here, guys. At 140,000, he's still getting his tires balanced, mounted, rotated, alignments. All the fluids was checked. brake calipers replaced. Somebody really took care of this vehicle. That means it's going to last a long time. So you know that. Plus, people love history records. That's an amazing thing. When I see a vehicle that has tremendous amount of service records, just like this one, I lean towards it. That means I could step up on a vehicle. I could pay a little bit more on the vehicle. And look, this vehicle is a little older. It's 10 years old, even more than that. This is probably a 10, 12-year-old vehicle. Look how clean it is. Look at the tires. Look at the rims. This is an old vehicle with over 200,000 miles on it. And it's well maintained. Somebody will still pay for it. Again, I stay away from vehicles over 125. That's my gap. Make sure that you buy vehicles 120, 130 and under, just because it's a little bit harder to sell when you have vehicles a little bit over down that mileage. But that doesn't mean if someone's looking for a good car that this is not a good car. I'm just telling you how to analyze a Carfax report. So we'll see what it does at the auction. I'll see you guys inside.